Anxiety. It's a huge problem and a setback for millions of Australians. And in this video, I'd like to show you the first step in overcoming anxiety. And it's actually much simpler than you think. I produce weekly videos with loads of tips to help you to live a life beyond your limits. So if you like my content and are new here, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Now, anxiety has always been a very big problem in our communities, and since COVID, it's gotten much worse, particularly among our children. But could it be due to over psychoanalysing, which is causing our parents to become overly cautious of their children's mental health? Is this in fact escalating the problem? Now, anxiety and depression, in my view, is one of the most costly issues to individuals and communities. So people with mental illness typically hide or shrink themselves from life's opportunities. Now, mental illness costs in Australia alone almost $500 million each day. The cost is actually close to $180 billion per year, according to a Productivity Commission report. And treatment and services are not meeting community expectations. Now, if you've subscribed to my channel and know me, you will know that I specialize in untraining my clients' brains. Now, in my business of untraining, I've discovered that when you focus on anything, that subject of focus gets bigger and certainly ever present. If you can remember back to your school days, to the day that you had to give a presentation or you were going out on a special date, and only to discover that morning after looking in the mirror, a pimple, you know that what you focus upon expands. Or you may have heard the Robin Sharma quote, what you focus on grows, what you think about expands, and what you dwell upon determines your destiny. Now, everyone has something that they get anxious about. Therefore, if you focus on it, your child, you, or anyone can be diagnosed as anxious. If you know me, you'll know I'm not a fan of negative labels, as they have a habit of actually sticking long after the label was first set. So if you or your child is diagnosed with anxiety, that's a label that can be very hard to remove. Now, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics in 2017 and 2018, 4.8 million Australians had a mental or behavioural condition. Now, that's 1 in 5 or 20.1%. Now, since COVID, more than 2 in 5 Australians, that's 42.9%, have experienced a mental disorder. Now, you might accept these double-digit increases and justifiably suggest that times are getting tougher for our kids, or is it? Perhaps it could be due to our infatuation with fear itself. Now, while I won't fan the flames with any further statistics, I want to demonstrate how your focus can increase your attention and so actually escalate or increase a problem. Now, you've probably heard the saying, the energy flows where your focus goes. In a moment, I'm going to get you to not, now I repeat, not focus on a specific thing that I'll reveal to you in a moment. And I want you to do all you can to keep that idea from entering into your mind. Are you ready? Here we go. I don't want you to think at all, or even get a picture in your head, wait for it, of a blue fluffy bunny. Don't see a blue fluffy bunny in your head at all, particularly not a blue fluffy bunny with a green hat. Now, when I do this experiment in my keynote talks, and I ask my audience to raise their hands if they saw in their mind's eye a blue fluffy bunny, and a staggering large majority raise their hands. Now, how this works is that whatever you focus on appears in your mind. So the exaggerated exposure of anxiety in our media could in fact be the reason that anxiety has hit pandemic levels. Now, we all know that most news is negative, and its purpose is not to inform you, but to evoke fear in you, because people react more to fear than they do to feel-good stories. And we must remember that free-to-air is not free-to-air at all, because it commercially survives due to advertising. And advertising needs a big audience. So the key to reducing your anxiety is focus. What you focus on expands. So watching too much media, which our kids and adults alike are doing in droves, is one way that focus doesn't serve us at all. Another way we do this is by asking ourselves the wrong questions. This is a fundamental lesson that you learn when you study neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP as it's more commonly known. NLP teaches us that our focus determines our outcomes. So instead of focusing on anxiety, focus on calm. Instead of asking yourself, why am I anxious all the time? Or how can I get rid of my anxiety? Instead, ask yourself, how can I be calmer? Make calm your focus, not anxiety. We learn in NLP that when we ask a question of ourselves, our unconscious mind cannot resist answering. So when we ask, why do I get anxious? Your unconscious mind simply gives you all the reasons why. What that does is that deepens your belief that you are anxious and labeling your identity as anxious. As a brain untrainer working with parents, families, and children to create happy and healthy mindsets, more and more I'm finding that I'm helping my clients to untrain their brain. Why? Because today, families watch too much media, and I include, of course, social media in that particular mix, and they're training their brain to respond to fear. Don't believe me? Give yourself a calm rating from 0 to 10. 10 being absolutely calm and 0 not calm. And do this before you scroll on social media, and then measure yourself again after 10 or so minutes, and you be the judge. If this simple focus fix doesn't fix your anxiety, it means that you've deepened it. It means that you've actually built beliefs, stories, patterns around your anxiety, and you actually need to untrain your brain of anxiety. Now, I'm happy to help, and I offer a free solution session to give you a strategy to break free of anxiety for good. Now, I'll be sure to put a link below this particular video. Now, if you are all for living a life beyond your limits and you like my content, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'd hugely appreciate it. Finally, instead of focusing on a blue fluffy bunny or your anxiety for that matter, do you think it might be better to focus on how to get calm? Try my simple strategy and see what helps you more, focusing on anxiety or focusing on calm. You be the judge. My name is Rick Schnabel, and you can untrain your brain of anxiety. You really, really can. Bye for now.